places already. Oh, you can sit there too, it's fine.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Microphones works. Hello, Barcelona. So let's talk about DeFi again, and thank you for the previous programs about DeFi. It was really nice to hear so many different views. And now we're going to continue the same theme. What does it take for DeFi to go mainstream is the topic we're going to cover. And here we have our wonderful panelists. And maybe we can just start with a short introduction and who you are and what you do, please.
Well, my name is Arias López. I'm CTO at Botun. And we're a company that we are trying to bring Web2 developers to the Web3 ecosystem with technical tools, of course. And well, the company was founded in 2018. And we are very happy with the ecosystem, the Web3 ecosystem that is going to come in the next months, we expect.
So everybody who's been working with DeFi since 17, that's an OG in this place. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Frederic, please.
Yeah, I was introduced before, but yeah, I am CMO and co-founder of DEXTools. DEXTools, well, it's an app that tries to give the traders the tools that they need to avoid the scams and follow the trends of the markets and help them with the daily trading. It was founded in 2020. We are around 13 million visitors per month. Yeah, more or less, that's all.
Thank you. It's always good to talk about your business several times.
Yeah.
And Fiona, please.
Hi, my name is Fiona Delaney. I'm an entrepreneur from Ireland. And I'm speaking here today on behalf of C-Blocks, which is a European Commission project supporting the advancement of open standards to support the industry. So I work a lot in supply chain and in DeFi as well.
So you see the legal structures as well, more?
More, I guess, industry standards, interoperabilities across business domains, could be trade services, front and back end, middle office stuff for DeFi. So yeah, interesting stuff.
Very good, thank you. And David.
Morning, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
As you said, my name is David. I'm head of DeFi and tokenization at MetaCampus. I come here as a part of MetaCampus, and basically what we do is we are a technological partner to those companies that don't know that much about digital transformation. That means AI, metaverse, and of course blockchain. So what we do, especially in my vertical, is we bring companies that have no idea on DeFi, and we teach them how to use DeFi and the benefit. So that's what we basically do.
Very good. So you have your strong opinions on DeFi, which we're going to hear soon.
Absolutely.
Very good. So my favorite quote from Socrates is, the beginning of wisdom is the definition of terms. So let's start with the terms first. And what is your personal opinion on DeFi? Why do we need it?
DeFi is the hipster housing of traditional finance. Okay, it's the rebel in the family, no? I think it's here to cutting off the middleman in the financial ecosystem, and allows us to work with smart contracts and so on to take decisions and giving the power to the people.
That's a good ethos. What is your thoughts, Frederic, on this?
I will say, well, first of all, DeFi for me is freedom. DeFi is an answer, is a response to the tyranny of the banks, to the tyranny of the country.
Thank you. And this side, how do we feel about DeFi as your personal view?
For me, it is, again, I would agree, it's freedom. But I also think as we move into the 21st century and we are increasingly digitally enabled, I think it is the most amazing trade facilitator, globally speaking. And I think it is possibly the best vehicle we have for the future of I'm going to call it like informed finance or informed business, where you have the choice to invest, support, trade, maybe in green finance, maybe in certain strands that you either have personal or perhaps a regulated interest in. And I think the transparency, immutability, the smart autonomous actions that are enabled by this technology are foundational to what I hope that the future of business will be.
Thank you. David?
Yeah, I don't think there's quite much more to add besides what you guys said. To me, it's new technology that empowers ourselves as, well, the ones of us that are conscious about the importance of our finance and the future that we can have by managing our money, that's for sure. And I think it's a tool that empowers ourselves and gives us freedom. But I think the major benefit for me is like it can create, or it can help create new products that we have not ever seen before. And we all of a sudden can invest in a super expensive art that is worth valued in $10 million. And by fractionalizing it, you can divide it in like $5,000 each piece, right? Each token. And all of a sudden, it creates a new vehicle. So I think it's much more, from my side, the possibility of, having more tools, having more services, and much more tailored to each one of us.
Yes, exactly. The options with DeFi, they're limitless, actually. We don't even know where we're going to end up with this one. This is the first time in the history of mankind we have these options. If you're a farmer in Africa with a mobile phone, you can do DeFi, so that's something we've never seen before. That is fantastic and amazing. So let's go to the main topic then. My question is, what does it take for DeFi to go mainstream? And we could expand on different kind of sectors there, but you are free to go with your pick.
I think we are working on that, no? To bring more developers from Web 2 to Web 3. Today, the number of Web 3 developers is still teeny in the overall of the developers. And perhaps to work in blockchain or Web 3 is very complicated. So I think that from our side, we need to bring more developers to this ecosystem.
So more people, devs, for sure.
Yeah.
That's the main engine behind it. That is certain.
Yeah, I could have more people and money to pay that people. We need funds. We need that the companies realize the value of this technology and jump into it. We have some attempts already, some pilots, but not real mainstream products going right now. So we need to expand that and make sure that the people understand this. From the big companies to the people itself. We need more apps, more apps to make the people understand and jump into crypto. And that needs a process also of onboarding. And as from DEXTools, we are checking this way from the centralized markets to DeFi markets. And the usual way is you go to Coinbase, to Binance, you buy your first cryptocurrency, and then you jump to DeFi. We are starting to see the first products in which you don't already need that. You can directly onboard into DeFi, and you don't need to go to centralized exchanges to go to DeFi. With these new fiat ramps, with these new products that allow you directly to buy cryptocurrency without the need of a centralized finance company. So I think these things that we are seeing are the trend in the future.
But how do you think we can find more people? Because obviously it's a problem to find good people in any space. And what about DeFi? Nobody knows about DeFi, or even the Web3 space. It's kind of small if you compare it to the traditional trades. How do you solve that problem, do you think?
Well, the technology always wins. At the end, the cost-effective and all the technologies that are better than the ancient ones are going to be there. After that, also, when people check, it's more about the advantages of DeFi and the disadvantages of the other solutions too. Because, as I talked before, the control of the states, the control of the banks is going worse every day. You need, even, I don't know in other countries, but here in Spain, if you want to retire money from the banks, they ask you why. Why do you need your money? In DeFi, nobody is going to ask you. You can move $1,000 million and nobody is going to ask you. And you know when the other receives it in less than 1 minute. That's a huge advantage for any company and for any person.
So you think the advantages of DeFi will attract those people
Totally,
once? Yes.
In terms of use, yes. In terms of developers, the first is, as I mentioned, the money, because these markets are very attractive. They are going to attract funds. They are going to attract initiatives. Of course, they're going to attract developers because of this too. The markets are very dynamic, very flexible. What I found in terms of developers is there is a peak in what you can pay, and then people is not more attracted for the money. They are attracted by the ideas. You reach a limit in, you can't convince a person to work for more than an amount of money, but you can attract them. Hey, we are going to do an app that is going to change the world, or is going to change the lives of thousands of people in a third world country. That is what attracts real and good developers, I think.
That's exactly what I was thinking of and heading for. It's exactly that. You can actually choose your own future. You can't go to a bank and say, let's do this and this. But in DeFi, you can do whatever you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Fiona, what do you think?
I kind of agree, but I kind of disagree a little bit, maybe a
That's the idea with the
little
panel.
tension here.
Please.
I think maybe if we look at that powerful aspect of blockchain, or that we can tokenize things, so we're creating value. So I think, where are we going to get all these DApps? Where are we going to get all these developers? They're there working in other industry sectors. For example, my own company, which is called Origin Chain, we work in agri-tech and in farming, and we work with farmers who don't know about blockchain, they don't know about DeFi, and maybe they don't need to know, but what they're starting to do, they're not on-ramping into blockchain, they're on-ramping into big data, AI-driven information about their land, their soil, and they're able to create value out of that new data, and then they're able to tokenize it. So that powerful aspect of tokenizing brings this moniker of DeFi to almost every other aspect of trade or business that we can think of. And with a little time and a little exploration, and we're absolutely in an early adoptive phase. The crypto people, we're all in the advanced party. We're living on Mars right now. Everybody else is maybe thinking about going to the moon. And they're probably because of resource wars, or in farming in particular, the pressure of climate change is driving them towards a more digital future, a more connected future, where they need to learn and respond to changing context in a new informed way. And there's 100% a role there for tokenization, for decentralized science, for cooperative collective action. And I'm seeing a whole opportunity of new types of business, new types of innovation, which is informed and bedded down by the kind of technology that we all espouse. So I think tokenization, the power of tokenization and what it can mean in your industry, not just financial services, but in every other type of industry, is the vehicle, I think, that brings us into the mainstream.
This is very good that you touch on this subject, because everybody's taking a view on DeFi as a financial thing, but if you go tokenization and NFTs, then you have so many different options, which we are just starting to explore.
Yeah.
So it is very true.
It's a brave new world, I think.
It is. We are the pioneers and rebels here. Please, David,
Yeah,
what's your thought?
I could not agree more with what you guys have said. Like, we are the pioneers, and I think we have to take the step forward that's needed for ourselves. Because as Alex said, we need developers, and we need more people, we need fans. Because the reality and how I see it, I still think there are too many new things to discover. If you analyze tokenized projects, you realize that there are lots of them who are built on FOMO and lots of them who are useless. That's the reality, and that's because we've been long enough here to know that. So we kind of need to bring those people, bring those companies, those Web2 companies or wherever, let's call them whatever, and make them understand the possibilities we have here. Of course, there are good things and there are bad things, but with talent and with time, I'm sure super good products will come, and what we know now will be completely different from what we will know in, or what we will be speaking in like 5 years if the bull run comes back again, right? And this doesn't go to zero, which I don't believe, of course. But of course, I think we need to take a big step forward on that aspect and bring the most people, the most companies, and even banks. I have worked at banks, and probably that's the reason why I see the human side of the people that works there, and they can be of benefit. Because if you analyze DeFi, there's one major flaw on my side, which is for those people who, okay, we acknowledge the fact that we have to be conscious of the self-custody, that's magnific, but what do you do with, I don't know, my grandma, who is not a technologically used person, right? What do you do with these people? We need some kind of entities to still protect them. Of course, that relies on how banks are able to protect them or not protect them, and for sure we will see an advancement on their side. At least that's what I hope. But that's how I see it.
I have to add something there from the point of view of Europe and the emerging regulations. So it's not financial institutions that are instantiating something like MiCA or VASP or BaFin regulations. And these are, when we're talking about, like if your grandma is investing, does she want to invest in like, let's say it's her pension? Is it something more like a security, which you can do? You can tokenize securities. And in that way, she's in this regulated zone and is protected there. And I think there is this hybrid scenario that we're looking at now, which is, I think it's proving the maturity of our industry, but it might not be the end game. And so we see a lot of financial institutions, for JP Morgan, the Onyx project, or the Citi token project. Fidelity, I know, are through the FCAT, Applied Technology Center, is experimenting a lot with Bitcoin mining, amongst many other things. And so definitely these institutions are really experimenting, really innovating, and they have the numbers to really do something. The rest of us, or certainly for me, if I look at the production of food, is a very regulated context, just like financial services are. My company is too young to tender for any kind of government projects. So I am left on the periphery. I mean, I want to be there, but I'm also on the periphery. You know, you're always doing the experimental stuff, the pre-regulated stuff, there's something that's
of course,
unknown.
It's never ending, right?
Yeah.
It's true.
So I think we need to learn from each other. I think we need to, as crypto people, when I think of 2015, 2016, 17, I mean, we've really matured, I think, as an industry, and that's a very good thing. I'm a big proponent of industry open standards where we cooperate together to agree the terms, or what is a common good practice? How do we help prevent scams? How do we look into our blockchains and understand what we're seeing while also protecting things like privacy, anonymity, if that's part of the equation? So yeah, I see it in a cycle of growth. But I would caution for defend. I think this maybe aligns with some of your ethos. I think we need to defend quite strongly some of those core aspects of our technology, and it would be a shame if we somehow lose or squander that in this exploration phase, you know.
Yeah, and it's in the beginning. It will evolve.
Yeah.
Basically, the market will decide in the end, of course, that too. But what more do we need to do if we're thinking of DeFi as we have a specialist here with DeFi tools? How do you see that we make DeFi more accessible for people? Because if you have a worthless UI, UX, people, they're not going to adapt. We need mass adaptation for mainstream.
Yeah, there are maybe two things that are the most important. I think one is, of course, marketing. They need to know that this exists and why they need it. Because usually in your normal life, you don't know, or why I'm a normal person, why I need crypto. And you need to understand what is crypto, how it works, and what advantages it has. That's the first of all. And that's, I think, part of marketing, part of big companies that are onboarding people and are doing this job to onboard people. And when you are into the ecosystem, there are many, many initiatives or things you can do, but you need this first onboarding. But especially talking about the people that is older or they don't have these digital skills, that is also very important to focus, I think, on the designs of the apps itself. It's always said, you can use blockchain and you don't need to know that you are using blockchain. Just use this app because from my perspective, most of the old people I know learned how to use, for example, WhatsApp or any messaging. They learned to use WhatsApp. They learned how to use the mobile phone, most of them, because they didn't have a mobile phone. But why? Because they maybe they have grandsons they want to call, they want to text and see the pictures at Facebook, and many things they couldn't do before, they want to do it. So they passed that process of onboarding. With crypto is similar. At the point you need to have your savings, and you don't want to rely on a bank because the banks are maybe taking many part of your income or something like this. I don't know. In many countries, they had big issues with banks. You are going to do it. In countries like Argentina, like Venezuela, maybe you need to save in a stable coin because you can trust your own currency.
Yeah.
So that's a process, and when you are going to need it, you are going to learn how to do it. And the wallets and all the onboarding process must be very, very easy for these people. 1 click, 2 clicks, and that's all.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. If it's easy to use, then nobody knows how the internet works or the phone even works.
I just
you
receive
just
a
use
currency. I don't know what is a blockchain. I just have a 1,000 Tether, but I know, I understand that this is $1, and that's all.
Exactly. But that's something for the industry to take upon themselves. We need to make it easy to use, as
That's
always.
it.
What do you think, Alex?
For me, we can talk about three points. The first is, of course, is the developers. We need to give developers more tools to implement applications in the same way that we create a traditional financial application that uses credit cards. We are connecting to an API to use the credit card. We need to give people, Web 2 developers, with these tools to make the blockchain interaction totally hidden for them. This is the first point. The second point, perhaps the most important one, is we need to improve the user experience. Today, for the average internet user, for the average financial applications user, create 12 words to create the wallet. Remind these words and have in mind that if you lose your words, you lose your money. For me, this is a nightmare today. I don't know if the account abstraction will get rid of this. I'm not sure about that because I think we need to work more on that. And perhaps, and for this, there are more tools every day. We need to finish with the scam. This is horrible. All the people is afraid of what can I do if perhaps will come a thief and I will lose all my assets. I think for this, for example, DEXTools are working very hard, and we need that. And and regulations. We need regulations to avoid this. And perhaps the developers, when start to create more Web3 applications for DeFi and so on, perhaps we can get rid of this scam. But I think more or less those are the 3 points I think are important.
Yeah, we can talk about this 8 hours, but those are really good points. But the main idea is to make it accessible and easy to use. That's within every sector. I mean, the internet, nobody knew how to open a browser before you had a good browser, so, and that took like 20 years.
and perhaps we need to stop, and there is I don't know the word in English. We need to claim to go to the Web3 directly. Perhaps we should talk about Web 2.5, okay? Because we want to go too fast, and perhaps the people, the internet average user, is not prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. It is frustrating when you are almost on 4.0 and the other is on 1.8, so it's difficult. Do we have any other thoughts? We're kind of getting out of time, but
I'd say, I mean, I agree. I agree completely. It's like we need to implement and to improve that look and feel. Like when you go to a decentralized app, right? And you are a complete newbie and you have to connect your wallet. But suddenly you only have Ethereum RPC and they only work with Solana blockchain. It's like, what the hell are you talking to me about, right? So that's on one side. We need to improve it, but who knew how to open a browser 20 years ago? We will know how to do it. The only thing is that this is taking longer because it's way more important. It's about our funds. It's about our money. And the other thing I wanted to highlight with, you have already said, Alex, it's the fact that we need to be very critical with scams. And when problems such as what happened with Luna happen or with SBF, that cannot happen because it's super bad news for the ecosystem and for the development of ourselves. I know sometimes, since we are already in the ecosystem and we have the first-hand information, we are tempted to invest in something that we know will give us some benefit, of course, but what's the technology behind it, or what's the point of that project behind it? Is that sustainable on time? Is not? Then maybe ethics is more important than earning some money. On my side, but that's how I see it. We need to see and we need to understand that we have to be very critics with bad behaviors on DeFi and Web3 overall.
yeah, we still have to realize it's a baby still. The DeFi world, Web3, it's just a few years old, so this will evolve for sure. Yeah. But it's good to have these topics discussed, and that's the way it should be. That's how we evolve.
But absolutely, but as Frederic said, you realize how in Venezuela or Argentina there's hyperinflation, or they control your money. That's as easy as that. We cannot let that happen, neither. So we have to empower Web3. It's our obligation as these people who are, looking for more innovative solutions for the future.
Well said. Thank you. So the last question, because we're not having 1 hour to discuss this, maybe we can talk really shortly about 1-2 points. What is the future of DeFi? How do you see, where are we going? What's the new trends? Let's say the next 5 years.
I don't know. Who knows, no? I don't know the next 6 months, but I think that we need that, from a conceptual point of view, we need that the current apps go to the apps. For me, this is the idea, and improve the blockchain technology to cut off with all the men in the middle for banking and so on.
I will say that maybe grow and expand, and of course a lot of work to do that, because we are in a very early stage yet. So it's like asking in 1995 what is the future of internet. There are many things that are going to happen, but we don't expect it. And new applications and new things, because the people always find the gaps, find the needs, and find, if you have the tools to do something, you are going to do it, or someone is going to do it. And that is what happens always with new technologies. So, yeah.
Exciting times.
Yeah. Exciting times.
So, final words. What is the future of DeFi? Short, please.
Really short. What I'd love to see, I don't know if this will happen, because who knows, right? But imagine if we could have like DeFi as the sort of Uber of personal finance, completely disintermediating bank loans, payday loans, you know, reconciliation at the end of a dinner, all that kind of thing. You just make it super, super easy, super streamless. And I think if we could have that really fast, almost just-in-time reconciliation for personal financing, I think we would have that win-win show and tell, that immediacy that people understand what it means in their lives. And I think that could be really great.
To me, honestly, I don't know. Like, I started in crypto in 2019, and I would have never imagined how it is right now. What I do see is that I think there are more companies that are going to understand that, hey, I can send money on an international transaction within seconds and costing me basically zero. So they are going to start adopting that, and we will see a development both on the look and feel, on security, regulation will come, which, of course, we have our views on that, but it has to come, right? And I think it will be much more accessible. That's my main point on DeFi.
Very good. I think DeFi will take over TradFi, but not within a few years. But that's honestly what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for listening, and thanks to a lot of experts here. It was really nice to talk with you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.